And we're here in Iroquois Arena for a winner-take-all in this Elite Eight round, Game 7, between the St. Vital Junior Victorias, the visiting team, and the home team, the Charleswood Hawks. I'm your host, play-by-play commentator for this matchup, as always, Graham the G Show Forsyth. Our mmjhl playoff game days are, of course, as always, brought to you by Mid-Canton Fasteners and Tools, your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. Be sure to check out their website at midcantonfasteners.shop and their store locations in Brandon and Winnipeg today. We're also brought to you by Terraco, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. Be sure to check out their website to find out why they're so trusted at terraco.ca. And to Goaltenders, finally, your goalie's personal video review service. For more information about what they do, just basically a one-on-one Zoom video service, be sure to check out their website at gordytumelsongoalies.ca. Thank you to them, all three of those sponsors, for continuing to support Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League live streams here on the network. And as we pull up the bracket right now, as you can see, the St. Boniface Riels won in Game 6 on Tuesday night at Century Arena to end the Twins' bid at a comeback from down 3-0 in that series, in that deficit. The Riels found their A-game in that final game and ended up winning it to advance, setting up a semifinal matchup between them and the Twisters. St. James, the defending champs, await the winner of this one, and as you can see, this playoff series between the Vics and the Hawks has been really tight. It started off with Charleswood winning the first game 5-2. Then St. Vital won the next two, Game 3 in OT there. Then the Hawks won 5-3, the Vics 8-4 here in Iroquois last time they played on March 17th in this barn. And then St. Vital was up 2-0 on Charleswood before they scored 5 unanswered, en route to a 6-3 win this past Tuesday. And, you know, there's been some big-time players in this series. None bigger than Nicholas Guberman in terms of goals. He has 6, also tied for the lead in points with Tyler Rubini, who has a whopping 10 assists to his totals. Davis Koga and Jack Kaiser also in this list for point leaders. As for the goal leaders, Nicholas Guberman leading by 1 right now. We'll see if he can extend that tonight. Rylan Netchwaduk, his hat-trick performance in Game 6 bumped him all the way up to a tie for second in goals so far in these playoffs. As for the assists, well, no one's been better than Tyler Rubini so far. 10 assists in 6 games played so far. Been lacking in the goal department, but making up for offense in other ways. Kaiser and Koga and Guberman also in this top 5. And as for the goaltenders, we've seen some of these save percentages drop, but Zach Meadows has been pretty rock solid from the games we've seen so far. Mason Tebec has started in every single game for the Vics and ended up getting pulled last game. Saw a bit of Matt Grisiak. But as for, you know, these teams, it's been mostly, for most of the time, the Vics out shooting Charleswood on average in this series, but things flipped in game number 6 where Charleswood dictated most of the shots. Special teams-wise, Charleswood, I mean, outside from last game where they gave up those 2 power play goals, been pretty phenomenal on the penalty kill. Also a really good power play percentage as well. But, folks, these two teams making their way out onto the ice right now. We're in a booth tonight, by the way. Our camera is outside of the booth. But thank you for choosing G-Show Productions, as always, on gshow.ca for what should be a fantastic night of hockey here from Iroquois. We will break for just a moment. National Anthem's coming up next, and then Puck Drop here on mmjhl Game Day. Brought to you by Mid-Canton Fasteners and Tools, Terraco, and goaltenders Charleswood. St. Vital for one final time here coming up. Well, last season, these two teams met in the semifinals where it was similar. It went to 7. It would be the Vics who came out with it to punch their ticket to the finals. They meet a round earlier this year in the Elite 8. Both these teams looking to punch their ticket into the Final Four to set up a matchup, a best of 7 with the St. James Junior Canucks. I'm your play-by-play commentator for this matchup, Graham, the G-Show Forsyth. Thank you for choosing G-Show Productions on gshow.ca for this matchup. Jack Kaiser at center ice for the Vics. Riley Dudich for the Hawks, and we're underway. Dudich winning the draw to Sean. Plays it up into the neutral zone, all the way down for an icing early on here for the Charleswood Hawks. In this first period, brought to you by McCann Fasteners and Tools, your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. Be sure to check out their store locations in Brandon and Winnipeg today, as well as checking out their website at mccannfasteners.shop. Kaiser loses the draw to Dudich. Sean goes D-to-D with Van Norman. Up to McDonald. He gets bumped. Turnover. It's on to Nolan Anderson. Stick. His shot will be blocked. Charleswood with possession of it. Dudich starts with a breakout pass to McDonald. Back to Dudich, and a nice save made there early on by Tebek to cover things up here with 19:34 remaining on the clock early in this period. Both teams getting the line change here, and yeah, I mean, no team in the series except for early on in game 2 and 3. It was the Vics who strung to the other 2 wins in a row, but outside of that, it's been very back and forth in terms of how the wins have gone in this series. But the Vics trying to play this up to Koga. That'll be disrupted. Guberman ends up going back to the point. Held in impressively there by Van Norman. A bouncing puck will be sent down once again. Kiesman first one on it there, across to Nichaporik. Nichaporik cross ice to his D partner in Kiesman, who passed the red line, dumps this one in. Sean will be first there for the Hawks, takes a bump on the play. He'll be okay, stays on his feet. Guberman picks up a loose puck in the neutral zone now, and he's trying to dangle through. Good defensive stick there by Malmus, gets laid on there by Guberman. From the point, Waddell, his shot ends up hitting the glove of Guberman, gets the loose puck just wide of the net, though, off of the shot. Nechwaduk turns it over. Vig Fuss, and his shot turned away by the left pad of Tebek. Davis Koga looking to play this up. Off of the body of Guberman. He blocks this, disrupts this, finally gets into the neutral zone, but right back into the Vics territory in their own end. Malmus will be first one on it. D-to-D. Vics try to start a breakout, but can't. Off of that. That shot saved by Tebek. Rebound there. Loose puck trying to survive. Oh, another great save by Tebek off of Hattie. Charleswood all over them. That in tight. Charleswood banking away at it. Do we see a goal? We see some rough stuff here. Won't be surprised if we see that continue to happen. And right there, Nechwaduk ended up giving Spence a little stick tap, and then he gives a tap of the stick on Nechwaduk's head as he heads back to the bench. Draw will be inside of the Victoria zone. It's Vig Fussin on to take it for Charleswood against Connor Mitchell. And Mitchell wins it into the corner. Jaquette D-to-D to Halati. Vix once again has this intercepted, though. Nicholas Chapman moving in, jumping up from his defensive spot. That will be turned over now, and here goes Jaquette jumping up into the play. Nice backhand over on that saucer to Blake Lee, but just missed on him there. Zook off of the backboards, tries playing this up to number 22 in Smith. It's onto the stick of Dennis now. His shot drags and turned aside, paddled into the netting as we get a stoppage with 17:36 remaining here. It's been mainly Charleswood produced in the offense. The Vics have had a few opportunities to potentially get some action on Meadows, but couldn't execute on that final play moments ago. Jaquette trying to feed that backhand saucer pass over to his teammate. Won by the Hawks. Sean through a screen. That save by Tebek. Hawks couldn't get the rebound, so it'll be picked up by Kiesman now. Flipped into neutral ice, and it's Kaiser. Leaves the drop for Nolan Anderson. His shot through turned aside by Meadows. The Vics continue to work it here. Nichaporik at the point. His shot and off on the skate of Kaiser for a block, his own teammate. Vicks look to keep it in just outside. This puck comes, so an offside on the play. Aiden Anderson, of course, made his return into the lineup after missing a bunch of time in the regular season. One forward of the month back in November in the league. Of course, looking to make an impact here in this game 7. Dudic against Imbrogno, loses the draw to Imbrogno. Vic send it in. Long shot turned aside by Meadows into the corner. Be controlled by Charleswood. Flipped up into neutral ice. Now Kiesman being challenged by McDonald. Spence will pick this loose puck up, feeding it towards the net. Bouncing puck almost gets there on Tebek, but it'll be picked up by Imbrogno. Short little pass over to Carter Lee. Sends it down for Imbrogno, but too far for him as McDonnell be the first one on it for Charleswood, and puck sent out of play. Here off of a Victoria, I believe, so where will we get this draw? And no, it wasn't off of Victoria. It's off of Hawks cleanly, so draw stays in their own end. Netchwaduke into face-off against a Hawk in the face-off circle. Tries winning that back to Rubini, but picked off well there by number 8 in Lewis. Lewis gets it back. Lewis tries going to feed this across to Morrison. Morrison plays this on net. A tap there by Lewis, and a save made by Tebek. So we get another face-off inside of the Victoria zone. Bit of a tie-up on the draw. Elliot Lewis, first one in the corner for the Hawks. Vicks trying to work this up the wall, but can't. Turned over now. That shot turned aside. And still remains in the Victoria zone in front of their own net. Now on the half wall. Rubini, quick pass up to Netchwaduke. A hat-trick last game. Only goal scorer for the Victorias in their 3 goals, of course. Sends it down low. Koga out there along with Rubini trying to get this puck. Held in by the skate of Malmus at the point. Working in now. Rubini, nice short pass to Malmus. Dangles and scores! And it's the Victorias who strike first here in this game 7 matchup. How's just that first line going to work, right? Making things happen. The puck, obviously, them hounding on it. Nice play by Malmus to keep it in with his foot there at first at the point. And then he jumps in. Rubini feeds him with a nice little short pass and the nice poise and beautiful dangle from Malmus there to beat Meadows to give the Victorias the 1-0 lead in this game, brought to you by Make Canada Fasteners and Tools for the first period. All of our special team sequences we see tonight will also be brought to you by Make Canada Fasteners and Tools. Vicks control off the draw, sent in to the opposite corner by Reese Malmus, the most recent and only goal scorer in this game so far. Hawks able to work it out on transition. McDonald kicks it out. That shot will be blocked by Victoria. Picked up by Connor Mitchell. Fed out to Blake Lee. He goes cross again. Machia goes back to Lee, but that one covered up well by Charleswood. Riley Dudish now. Big 2-goal game last game. Feeds a pass up to McDonald. Loses it in his skates. Picked up again by Dudic. Feeds a pass over to Waddell as the Hawks were regrouping for a sec. Sent towards the net to back. Able to swat that away. Picked up by Blake Lee as he has 3 Victorias with him. 3 Hawks back. Feeds a pass, though, to Nolan Anderson. Feeds it back to Nichaporik. His shot ends up wide of the net as Kaiser has it blocked up. Kaiser again on it. His shot just wide of the net. Maybe Meadows just got a piece of it there. As Nolan Anderson has it now. Decides to regroup it out for the Victorias. And gets it back. Dropped by Nichaporik. Back for Kiesman now. Up to number 13 and 8 in Anderson. And that'll be out of play for a whistle here. With over 5 minutes gone in this period, it was Reese Malmus getting the scoring started off of a nice short little pass from Tyler Rubini. A nice dangle to finish on Meadows. Draw won by Charleswood initially, but Hattie ended up turning it over. Sent in deep by the Vicks. Meadows out to play this puck. Having a bit of trouble with it, though, able to play it behind his back up the boards. Charleswood now in possession, looking to break up. through the neutral zone. A nice little dangle there by Vig Fussen, but couldn't catch up to the puck. Apologies, folks, our camera just went out. As we are back here. Sent all the way down for an icing into the Charleswood zone. So another face-off draw coming up here. In the Victoria's end. Won by the Hawks. That shot deflected off of something. Headed into the boards. Gets sent all the way down to the Vig zone. Kaiser first one to pick it up, and he looks like he's looking to go for a skate. Banks it off of the boards, and he's by Kaiser. Plays it to the net, trying to go backdoor for Nolan Anderson, but just couldn't complete that pass. Elliot Lewis now, his pass cross ice, feeding it towards the blue line, will be all the way down for an icing. That's one thing about the Hawks, man. I mean, looking at last game, that first period was kind of a struggle for them through transition, especially through the neutral zone. And we've seen it tonight here so far, missing on their passes, and it's resulted in a few icings. Look for them to clean this up as the game goes along. As well, Kinsman looks to make an adjustment. Of course, last game too, I mean, for Charleswood, if they're able to play better, they were down 2-0 last game, scored 5 unanswered. See if the Vics can hold this lead and even extend it as this period goes along. As it's carried in now, Reese Malmus takes the contact, but able to somehow stay on his feet in the end. Ends up being turned over, though, and played onto Van Norman's stick. Van Norman now through a body, ends up shooting that, but turned aside by Quebec. Number 1 been sharp so far in this Game 7 matchup. Halati will have this pickpocketed. McDonald over to Dudich. His shot wide of the net, took some contact before taking that shot. As Koga sends it in opposite corner. The Vics, some of them going off for a change, and Netchwaduk. Rubini and Koga still out there, and Brogno, the one who came on for Netchwaduk, onto Rubini's stick. As he leaves a short pass for Davis. Koga back to Rubini, to the net. That turned aside by Meadows. He takes it off the backboards. As Imbrogno, the Hawks having some words for him behind the net. Their own net, that is a face-off draw coming up here in Charleswood zone. It's just over halfway left here. 11:48 in the first period of action. Imbrogno loses the draw on the tie-up. Waddell plays this around the close boards to Danis, who gets it all the way down. .27 and Kai Smith out there for Charleswood. This gets sent all the way down into the Charleswood zone for an icing. So we'll get a stoppage and play here once again, and another face-off inside of the Victoria zone. Guberman, Lewis, and Danis out there for Charleswood. Pretty skilled line, if I do say so myself. Some of their best players all out at once. Draw will be one to the boards initially by Charleswood. Picking it up, Elliot Lewis tried getting a shot through, but a nice defensive stick by Victoria there, who defended it. Sent in deep by Jeremy Wirch. Goes off for a change. Now Charleswood looking to break out the other way. As Danis getting hounded. Sends it in deep, though. Took the hit to make the play. It'll be the Vics who start up this breakout right away. Off of the boards. That one couldn't find the stick of Machia. Sends it in. Picked up by Blake Lee. Lee into the slot. Mitchell defended well by the Hawks there, even though they let him get into the zone. Charleswood back into the Vic zone now, where Jaquette will play this up for Machia. Off the boards and picked up by AP Nicholas Chapman, who had a goal last game for Charleswood. A snipe off of the post from the point. as Mitchell now directs this in. Past the red line, so no icing. Vicks go off for a change. Charleswood looks to break out 200 feet. Off of the stick of Hattie there. Couldn't cradle that initial breakout pass. Meadows now with some trouble. Turns it over. Kaiser disrupting. Plays it across the goal line to Nolan Anderson. Can't be held in by Jorgen Nell now as he sends this, or has this sent all the way down into the Victoria zone. Nell around the net though. Little head fake before trying to make it up that left side. Closed off finally by Cam McDonald. It'll be picked up again by Nell. Drop pass for Brady Jaquette. Feeds it up for Aiden Anderson, who deflects this in. McDonnell will be first one on it. Takes some contact to get that to Waddell. Charleswood now trying to get this out. Past a Vicks defenseman in Malmus, but he tried holding the line as best as he could. Now Charleswood is off. Cam McDonald has a man with him. Feeds it over off the backhand. Scores! Charleswood ties the game at 1 with 9:24 remaining in this first period. It'll be Kai Smith. Got traded over from the St. James Junior Canucks. Maybe the biggest goal of his Charleswood Hawks career so far. Charleswood is able to break in. It's a 2-on-1 that develops. McDonald, the team captain, steps up, throws a nice pass across. Wasn't the prettiest, but a nice finish at the end of the day as they all count the same. In our first period, brought to you by Make Cannon Fasteners and Tools. Elliot Lewis tries dropping back for Guberman. Guberman try getting that down low. Picked up by Morrison. Sends it down for Elliot Lewis. Try getting that into the slot. And this puck ends up out of play. I mean, look what happened there. Hey, Charleswood finally able to work it through with some success in the neutral zone and came down and created a really good opportunity. Kai Smith going to the right place, going to the net to tap that one in. Elliot Lewis now, his shot wide and high of the net, into the netting. Face-off will be just outside of the Vic zone, closest to the Charleswood bench. Draw will be won by St. Vital. Jaquette goes D to D. Now fans on that one-touch pass. McDonald blows a tire just at the blue line. Puck ends out into the neutral zone now after a Vic's clear. McDonnell up to Dudich. Ends up on McDonald's stick now. His shot will be blocked on the way through. McDonald still on it. Plays it up to the point. That shot through. Turned aside by Tebek. Rebound there, but turned away by the Vicks. Blake Lee passes. Kicks it out to Machia, but couldn't catch up to that. The Vicks, a huge hit laid there. Number 17, Jorgen Nell. Getting a taste of what should be a lot of rough stuff in this Game 7 between these two teams. I mean, there were two fights that broke out in game number 4 in that series. This one, tension's going to be high. It'll be no different. Puck ends up out of play. Getting a stoppage with 7:44 remaining. Kai Smith getting on the board, as well as McDonald on the assist in that last goal. That only goal for Charleswood so far. St. Vital with an offensive face-off zone draw. That'll be won by Imbrogno, but Carter Lee gets put on his backside right away. Charleswood, not afraid of the physicality at all, dishing it out. This gets played into the Victoria zone now. Held in at the point. Quick shot from the point now. Glove down by Tebek. It's in good position to make that stop. I believe it was Jason Zuck that put that on net. below the goal line. Charleswood tried working it out. Elliot Lewis comes down to help. Loose puck picked up by Danis. Up to McDonnell. His shot through, turned aside off of the logo up to back. And now it'll be Aiden Anderson. Coming down with some speed. Has Kaiser with him. Drops it to him. Kaiser to the net. That shot, I believe, going off of the stick of Meadows on its way through. Battling in the corner now. The Vicks get it back up to the point. Nichaporik across for Kiesman. His shot wide of the net. Vicks on the loose puck, though. It's Nolan Anderson. Nice move to the middle. Backhand pass across to Kaiser. Didn't quite get what he wanted on the what was supposed to be a one-timer. Meadows covers up. With another face-off coming into the Charleswood zone. The net's off all of a sudden. Nolan Anderson and Kaiser getting into it with McDonnell. So you could see there. Some chirping going on between Spence from his own bench for Charleswood and whoever he was talking to out there on ice. Kaiser on to take the draw for the Vicks still. Against Morrison. It'll be won by the Vicks. Played up to the point. Kiesman. His shot off of the paddle of Meadows. And out of play. Another face-off coming inside of Charleswood's end. This time tied up on the draw. It'll be into the corner. Van Norman backhand pass to Sean. Played up. Onto the stick of Morrison. Down the right side, he delays. Looking for options. Sends it on net. Looked like it was going wide for a moment. But Beck sticks the glove out to make the save. So another face-off draw coming inside of the Victoria zone. Won by them, Sean. Over into the corner, down low. Picked up by Victoria. And sent out. Sean will be rimming this around. Jaquette sends it in deep. Or tried to anyways. To Guberman. High slot. His shot will be blocked on the way through. Jaquette. A nice sacrifice of the body there to make it. Elliot Lewis now. Played across and just past the stick of Morrison there. As it goes cross ice. Jaquette up into the play. He was going to take some contact there. He was waiting for it. Got himself out of could have been a rough situation. Rubini, short little pass over. Now with a shot and glove down by Meadows. Man, he's been really fun to watch in these playoffs so far. I mean, every time we've been down at the Centennial, he's made about 2 or 3 game-changing or game-saving saves, right? And, I mean, this is a guy that's gotten the reins of being the #1 goaltender in these playoffs for this Charleswood Hawks team. And has been a big factor in their success when they've had it. Halati tips this down low. Nicholas Chapman struggling a bit with the puck out in front now. Halati now trying to pull the trigger. Can't. Nice defense by Charleswood. Mitchell now plays this to the net. Still loose. And the whistle finally does go. We're getting some rough stuff now. Machia going out with Hattie. Machia gets grabbed from behind too. He's played into the boards. A ref with his arm around him. Nicholas Chapman holding on to Blake Lee behind the net too. Oh, it's only the beginning, everybody. Only the beginning in what should be, like we've talked about, a game filled with physicality and extracurricular activities like we saw here after the whistles. The refs right now talking to both benches. We stay at 5-on-5. The draw will be won by the Hawks. Struggling a bit in his own corner there was Nicholas Chapman. Plays it over to Zook. And Zook flips it out into the neutral zone. Dudic, just by the red line, sends it in deep. It's played on net. That turned aside into the backboards. Back-to-back puck ends up back to him, and he decides to just cover this up. Getting a stoppage in play with 4:30 remaining. Tied game in this first period of action in this Elite 8 round Game 7 matchup in the mmjhl playoffs. Elliot Lewis wins the draw. Guberman, his shot through, rebound there, but Charleswood couldn't get to it fast enough, just missing the net there. On the rebound was Morrison. The Vicks now work this up. Nechwaduk cuts in his shot, unable to get on net. Tried playing it into the slot, but this will be intercepted by Guberman with some speed. It's a 3-on-2 developing. Guberman looking, keeping it wide to Sean, and that shot unable to get through. Was interfered with there, Sean. But no penalty on the play. That shot from the point out of play. We'll get a face-off inside of the Victoria zone once again. Elliot Lewis loses it initially. Vicks can't clear it out, though. Held in by Van Norman. He awaits to shoot. His shot gets blocked. Trying to get that through. Nechwaduk plays a bank pass up to Rubini, who's trying to break in with some speed. Rubini trying to dangle through, but Sean with some good defense on him. Keeping up. Horace Rubini burnt this Hawks team back in the regular season when they came back down 3-0, and he had a hat trick in it. Ever since then, though, they've got the message that, hey, this is a guy that we got to keep our tabs on. It's not just Rubini that can hurt you, though, on this Vicks team, even though he's probably the most electric player on this year's Victoria's team. That puck gets sent out of play. We'll get a face-off just outside of the Charleswood zone by their bench here coming up. And Imbrogno for the Vicks going up against Vig Fussin for Charleswood. Won by Imbrogno. D-to-D, Jaquette goes to Jorgen Nell. Back in his own end now. Nell back across to Jaquette. Plays it up to Wirch. His redirect couldn't find anyone on that pass. Jaquette goes back up to Wirch in the neutral zone. Sent all the way down into Charleswood zone. His first on it will be Carter Lee on the forecheck for the Vicks. Charleswood able to survive it. Played up to Dennis. He gets rubbed out in the neutral zone. Zook, one touches this to the board. Zook back on it now. After gloving it down, his pass up. It'll be Kai Smith who gets taken out. Took a hit to make a play, though. Guberman sends it across to Dennis. Tries shooting through a screen, and a nice job of concentrating there. Mason to back to make the glove save. And that's been something Dennis has gone a lot to in this game already. It's the toe drag release wrist shot, of course. I mean, Austin Matthews in the newer age has kind of made that the norm. We're seeing, of course, Connor Bedard and the even newer generation doing it, and it kind of creates deception right on the goaltender, changes the angle, and if you can get one to connect it, it'll be a beautiful goal at that. But we're tied 1-1 here. Charleswood, it's like most of this period inside of the Vig zone. Spence trying to rub out Nichaporik down below. Nichaporik able to survive that. Gets a loose puck over to Kaiser as he picked it up, and Kaiser flips it all the way down. Racing on it, Aiden Anderson almost gets there. Zook, nice job to defend on him all the way, but that burst of speed from Anderson, very impressive. Dudic now tried dangling through, could not. That play. Charlotte goes off of the boards. Short pass up to Spence. Through a body, shoots on net, turned aside by Tebek. Once again, a bit of pushing and shoving after the whistle. Thought for a sec Mike Spence might be going to the penalty box, but not the case. He stays out there. And Dudic on the draw for Charleswood loses it as the Vicks Out in their corner. Here's a chance, though, for Charleswood. Side of the net. Spence has that turned aside. Another bad turnover for the Vics. Just struggling more so on their breakouts compared to Charleswood here early on in this hockey game. To the neutral zone now. Deflected into the Charleswood zone by Aiden Anderson before going off for a change. Puck sent all the way down into Charleswood's end again. Meadows able to play it to a teammate, but it's turned over right away. Charleswood struggling with it to break it out, and that pass missing Spence again in the neutral zone. It'll be no icing on the play. Charleswood goes off for a change. The Vics having some room to work it in as we're into the final minute of this period coming up. Meadows with some trouble behind his net. Vics trying to capitalize on it, but couldn't. We'll see what this turns into. Sent on net there. Nolan Anderson jamming away at a loose puck was Connor Mitchell. No penalty on the play. Backdoor scores! And with 36.6 remaining on the clock in this opening period, Lee finds the open spot on the ice, the quiet ice, to set up for a one-timer, which Meadows had to really stretch out to try to get there to save it, but was no match for the finish. And you could argue, Charleswood kind of got interfered with in their own zone there. No penalty was called. There's been no penalties in this period so far. Of course, all our first period goals brought to you by McCann Fasteners and Tools. Serving Manitoba producers, your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. Be sure to visit their store locations in Brandon and Winnipeg today. 16 seconds left on the clock. Puck in the Charleswood Hawk zone. It's Van Norman. Has it. Plays it to an outlet man. It'll be Kiesman who jumps up into the play. 5 seconds left. Kiesman got rubbed out. Charleswood, it'll be Guberman with it. Flips it out and takes some physicality afterwards. Oh my. Rylan Netchwaduk. Did he just take a penalty there for the Vics at the end of this period? Could it be coincidental? Not sure, but I mean, hey, we've seen, like I said, all the shenanigans happening after the whistles. We saw a 3-goal first period where we see the Victorias up 2-1. They started off by opening up the scoring. Reese Malmus with a nice dangle. Kai Smith putting in a nice backdoor cross ice pass, cross crease pass by McDonald, and just there the Vics, able to capitalize on that goal by Blake Lee. It will be the Vics on the... No, it won't be them on the penalty kill. It'll be them on the power play, I believe, here coming up in the next period. Very interesting indeed. This first period was brought to you by McCann Fasteners and Tools. We'll be back here in about 5 or 7 minutes, folks, near the start of the next period to give you a bit more first period analysis, or to give you some first period analysis and to update you guys on the shots and the goal scorers and the assists people in that period. McCann Fasteners and Tools, your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. Thank you to them for sponsoring this first period. We'll be back soon here, folks. See you soon. Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, into Iroquois Arena. As we're just about to get set for this next period of action. It's 2-1 for the Vicks after the first 20 minutes. On that last goal, I mean, it was kind of a theme at times in that first period, but Zach Meadows with some problems playing that puck when it came around his net. I'm not sure if he just lost a handle on it or what it was, but yeah, definitely something he'd like to clean up. He's been generally pretty good from what I've seen throughout the series in that aspect, but yeah, ended up creating a lot of havoc in front of the net. The Vicks swarming to the puck, and of course Blakely found the open ice to end up putting the Vicks back up top. They, of course, opened up the scoring in this matchup. With a goal by Reese Melmus. Kai Smith scored to, of course, tie the game up. Shots are 24-10 in favor of the Hawks. I mean, they've dominated the Vicks in terms of shots on net, more so than we've seen at any point in this series. It's just the Vicks being opportunistic and capitalizing on their chances so far, the blunders that Charleswood has had. And it's funny because it's usually been when we've broadcasted the Victorias this season that's what's been costing them, that they've controlled, a good majority of the play, but they've just screwed up in their own end and ended up, making those costly turnovers, not being as clean on the puck. In that period, I mean, the Vicks were still pretty turnover heavy in their own end. I mean, hence why there were quite a bit of shots. The Hawks with quite a good counterattack, but Mason DeBeck up to the task on 23 of the 24 shots he's faced so far. This next period of play is going to be brought to you by gshow.ca, or by Terrico. You can check out their website at gshow.ca. They're serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. And yeah, to check out, more of what they do, to see what they do, check out gshow.ca for more information. But yeah, we got our scoreboard up now. This series tied at 3-3, this being a Game 7. As for the players who got assists in that first period, it was Tyler Rubini getting the only assist on the Reese Malmus goal. Same with on the Kai Smith goal, Cam McDonald. The only one assisting on Kai Smith's first of the playoffs, and Blakely scoring his second of the playoffs, assisted by Connor Mitchell and Carter Wilson. So, yeah, Nichapork not playing in this game. Number 15 is Carter Wilson for the Victorias tonight. Of course, that latest goal from the Vicks coming with 36.6 seconds left on the clock. The Hawks are back on the ice now. Same with the Victorias. Tyler Anderson in his group, Will Kinsman in his group. Of course, Kinsman trying to get this team back to the Final Four. Anderson trying to do that and much more, trying to get this Vicks team back to a second straight finals appearance. But first things first, got to take care of this opponent, which is the Charleswood Hawks. They won the season series 3-2. Has been the closest series so far in the mmjhl playoffs, and why shouldn't it be, right? It's the 4 and 5 seed in this series usually brings the closest. And yeah, we're going to start off with a penalty here with Guberman in the box, as this power play brought to you by Terrico.ca and Terrico. The Vicks look to start this up. Huge on the power play last game. Netchwaduke had 2 power play markers. Netchwaduke, speaking of him, drops it back to Koga, drops it back to Kiesman. Kiesman now fans on the pass, keeps it in the zone though. Over to Tyler Rubini on the left side. His shot through, rebound there, bounces over the stick of Netchwaduke, sent all the way down quickly by Morrison. For Charleswood, Beck out to play it, leaving it for a teammate in Dayton Kiesman, who looks to wheel, or nope, decides to drop that to Netchwaduke, who goes across to Rubini. A little inside-outside fake move. Van Norman loses balance, ends up going into the net, causes it to go off of its bearings. getting a stoppage on this power play for the Vicks with 1:03 remaining. So they get their second unit out. Charleswood also getting a change. It'll be Dario Machia to take the draw. Loses this to Vig Fussin. Charleswood rims this all the way around. Connor Mitchell couldn't catch up to it at that point position. Mason Tebeck leaves it for Connor Mitchell now, who's wheeling up that right side. Feeds a breakout pass to Nolan Anderson as Anderson wheels in now down that left side, around the net as he protects. Nolan Anderson goes to the left point for Jaquette. Walks in. His shot will be blocked. Jaquette still stays on it, though. 34 seconds remain. He gets rubbed out. Nice forecheck, though. The nice stick by Blake Lee to disrupt that Charleswood Hawk who tried clearing it out. It's up top to Connor Mitchell. Goes across to Nolan Anderson. Down low to Machia. Back to Anderson. His shot through. Rebound there. Machia across. That goal scores! Well, it's the second defenseman to score for the Victorias tonight. Jaquette is waiting for that puck that ended up on his stick. Meadows, that initial rebound he gave up, couldn't really get good control of it, and the Vicks just decided to be a bit patient, set up, work the puck around, and finds Jaquette's stick for a one-timer. It's the Vicks up 3-1, cashing in on that late penalty. Literally late penalty at the end of the period that Guberman took the end of the first. The Hawks now working it up to the point. Van Norman across to Sean. Sean, his shot through, turned aside by Tebeck. Plays it to Rubini. Rubini now wheeling in. Drops it. Oh, nice play by Morrison to pick that off initially. Wilson, his shot on net, turned aside by number 30 in Zach Meadows. And around Morrison. Can't get it out. It's Kiesman. Sends that through. Glove down off that high shot by Meadows. And with 17:32 remaining in this second period, it's the Vicks up by a score of 3-1. Latest goal courtesy of Brady Jaquette. It'll be Imbrogno in on the draw for the Vicks. The offensive zone wins it, but not really to a teammate, as the Hawks able to flip this puck out of the zone now. It was flipped out by number 4 in Waddell. Played up in the neutral zone. McDonnell now walking in. His shot through, scores! Well, the theme of defensemen scoring continues in this one. Ian McDonnell steps up into the neutral zone. He'll jump up into this play, rushing the puck up. And a nice little dangle, some good deception before releasing it. Waits to pick his perfect spot that he wanted to, his preferred spot on Mason Tebeck. And man, oh man, ladies and gentlemen, could we be seeing the makings of a shootout on the scoreboard tonight? Charleswood tying this up. 17:13 remaining on the clock now. After the Vicks opened up this period, scoring on the power play. Spence, that puck goes by him. Malmus can't get a shot through. Nolan Anderson plays that up to Malmus. Across to Halati. Back to Halati now. Across to Malmus. Nice play, though, at the line there by Spence to get a stick in to eliminate that cross-ice pass. Malmus loses his balance now. No call on the play. In fact, there were no penalties up until the one that Guberman took at the end of it in that first period. So we'll see if that trend continues too. As Kaiser rubs out a Manhattan, but he takes the hit to make the play. Spence now walking in his shot wide of the net as Charleswood gets fresh legs on. Gerdabaniak got that into the Vic zone. First time calling his name tonight. Cross ice, D to Jaquette, most recent goal scorer for the Vicks. Played it to the line for Nolan Anderson. Short pass through. Kaiser wasn't aware of it at first. Jaquette tried to pick up that loose puck and to put it on the backhand, but could not. As he goes off for a change now, played up to Dennis as he has 3 Hawks with him. Breaking in, draw pass left, a bit of miscommunication though, is Nolan Anderson able to pick that off. Vicks get it into the zone, Kaiser chips it by, but the Hawks able to pick it up again. McDonald couldn't cradle it cleanly. He's racing down with Carter Wilson to get that puck, but Wilson just beats him to it. Out in front! Oh, Dudich denied. Rob there by Mason Tebeck. As number 11 was big time in that Game 6 victory to extend the series to this Game 7. He had 2 goals, was looking for his first of the night, but Tebeck with the quick reflexes to make the save. 15:25 remaining. Dudich on the draw for Charleswood now. Loses it to Blake Lee. Gives a shot to Lee afterwards. No penalty, though, on the play, of course. Refs letting him play for the most part. In the corner, Dennis battling with the other 21. Machia picked up by Charleswood. Out in front. Danger there for the Vicks as Charleswood tried banging away at it, but Tebeck covered up quickly enough. And another face-off will be coming inside of the Hawk zone here, or the Victoria zone. In the second period, of course, brought to you by Terrico. Check out their website at terico.ca for more information. Company that's been around for over 80 years. Vicks now. Netchwaduke trying to cradle this loose puck at center ice to make something happen, but could not. Turned over now onto the stick of Davis. Koga up that left side. Turned aside by Meadows as he gloves this down. Another face-off coming, this time inside of Charleswood zone. Netchwaduke taking the draw against Elliot Lewis. Lewis able to win it. Sean off of the backboards to Van Norman. Played up to Morrison. Now up that left side. Morrison, cross ice to Guberman. Guberman, his shot, oh, just turned aside there. Might have been just wide of the net occupied by Tebeck. Now cross ice to Jaquette. He works in now. Clapper just inside of the zone will be turned aside by the glove of Meadows. This puck gets sent all the way back down into Charleswood zone. Van Norman on it. Goes D to D. Sean plays it up. Guberman ends up taking this loose puck and tries playing it to the front of the net, but could not get it there. Disrupted by Victoria. Turned over by the Vicks again, though. Guberman has Nicholas Chapman with them. Guberman from the side of the net. Tried to create a rebound. Didn't go Charleswood's way, though. Vicks back in the neutral zone with it. Just send it into the Charleswood zone. But Charleswood breaks out once again. And all the way on net, covered up by Mason Tebeck. It's another face-off draw coming inside of the St. Vital zone. 3-2 they lead here in this second period of action. 13:47 remaining. Kaiser on to take the draw against Dudich. Charleswood just keeping it in. Waddell turns it over, though. It's the Andersons walking in. Aiden Anderson couldn't get that pass through to him. That was Nolan, sorry. Another block by Charleswood on Kaiser. And they're able to survive for the time being. Stretch pass up to McDonald. Picked up by Hattie now. Drop for Dudich. How's that turned aside? Disrupted off of the draw pass by Aiden Anderson. Rimmed around. Turned over again. Jack Kaiser now unload scores! Jack Kaiser snipes upstairs, taking advantage of bad puck management by the Charleswood Hawks. And for number 16, it's been mostly assists for him that have gotten him on the board in these playoffs. But another goal added to his total. Another goal added to St. Vital's total. They're up 4-2. There's Charleswood again, shooting themselves in the foot. Bad puck management in their own end. And, you know, too much talent on the other side. It's eventually going to catch up with you and caught up a few times with them today. Vicks extend the lead back to 2 once again. And that goal brought to you by Terrico. We will see an icing on the play, so a face-off all the way down, or no, sorry, to center ice. Vic Fussin on to take it for the Hawks. Wins the draw of a battle. Waddell off the boards. Halati to Machia. So the Vics take it away again. Machia off the boards. Halati now jumping up into the zone. Plays it out in front, covered up well there by Hawks defenseman. Picked up by Michael Spence now on the backhand in his own end. Michael Spence working with it. Plays it off of the boards to Danis, but couldn't cradle that loose puck. Off of that, Connor Mitchell now picks it up. Tries dangling through. Tried feeding it through past Fake Fussin, but couldn't. Charleswood looking to make something happen here. Puck gets past, though. 2 Vicks, 3 Vicks now coming in. Mitchell, draw pass, and Brogno, his shot turned aside by the glove of Meadows. Huge save there for number 30. In a game so far, with 12:11 left in the second, Charleswood has had most of the shots, but still find themselves down on the scoreboard. We'll see if they can raise their level as this period goes along. That cross-ice pass somehow getting through over the stick. Guberman plays it up to the point. Back down low where Guberman is there at the side of the net for the Hawks. Guberman has it in his feet. Onto a stick now. He waits, feeds a pass to Waddell, plays that to the net, gets deflected, and goes off the backboards. Waddell still with it. Tries playing that off the boards and down low. But not to be. Charleswood got it on net, couldn't pick up the rebound. This one gets sent out of the zone now, and the Vicks able to clear it out. Elliot Lewis feeds it through the skates of a Victoria. That backhand pass intended for Waddell has to battle with Carterley, that is, to get it to safety. Waddell gets it back, puts it up ice to Morrison. Morrison will have it down below. Looking to keep this down low, he does. No teammate there quickly enough to get it, though, as Imbrogno looks to skate this up. He gets cut off, plays this up the right side. Rubini tried playing it to himself, but have this cut off. He now picks off this puck. Pickpockets a man. But it'll be Charleswood back in possession of it. Played up by Zook to Dudic. No icing on the play. McDonald play that out in front. No one there for Charleswood. Here comes Dayton Kiesman now, wheeling up that left side. Kiesman looking to take it behind the net. Does just that. Up top to Wilson. Back to Kiesman. Quick shot through wide of the net. And couldn't get that rebound from below the goal line on net, of course. Held in by Wilson. Cross ice. D to Kiesman. Turned over, though. Kiesman has this. Spinning around away from the pressure was Van Norman. Played it down low to Sean. Sean couldn't get it out, though. Vic still maintaining possession. Up top, high slot. Now for Kiesman. His shot gets by Meadows. And that puck, did it stay out or did it go in? I believe this puck might have just stayed out. If so, you know, in one way, how? Because it looked like that puck had overpowered Meadows and was trickling through. A last-ditch effort by the Hawks defense to help out their goaltender and to keep it out. But with 9:56 remaining, it's 4-2 for the Vicks. Defensive zone face-off draw for the Hawks are coming up. Elliot Lewis on to take it against Kaiser. It'll be won by Lewis to McDonnell, but he turns this over. McDonnell, the most recent goal scorer for this Hawks team. Played up to the point to Malamus. Sent down low. Picked up by Nolan Anderson. Weaves to the outside. Protects it. Pass threaded through the stick of a Hawk player into the corner. Turned over now. Hawks looking to break out, but can't. Turned over by Guberman. Into the low slot. Almost there for Kaiser at the side of the net to get a chance on, but couldn't. As McDonnell reverses this around, but turned over into the Vicks possession again. Halati his shot through, but not on net. So it's blocked. Halati has it again. Vicks keep it in. Nolan Anderson down low. Took a pass from Aiden Anderson. Aiden got it back and shot it on net. And turned aside by Meadows. Takes a sip of water. Been under duress so far in this period. More so compared to the first period. It's like things have kind of flipped for both of these teams, right? Vicks, though, capitalizing on their opportunities at a high level so far. Off of the backboards, Van Norman, his pass couldn't find an outlet man. Turned over, puck will be sent in to the Hawk zone again. Van Norman on it, outlet pass to McDonald, back to Van Norman, D to D, he goes to Sean, his pass, couldn't get through Rubini at first, but McDonald picks it up, dangling through McDonald, penalty drawn here on the play for Charleswood. Could we be seeing a penalty shot maybe in the corner? A lot of physical stuff going down afterwards. Not sure who's there. I see Jaquette down on the ice. On his butt along with Dudic. Dudic just got up. But definitely a power play coming here to the Charleswood Hawks. Be Jorgen Nell going to the box. 2 for hooking. No penalty shot rewarded on the play. So for the first time in this hockey game, it'll be Charleswood looking to flex their muscle on the man advantage. Morrison, Lewis, McDonald out there along with Guberman and Van Norman. Van Norman now, backhand pass over to McDonald, spins around McDonald. Try getting that back up to Van Norman. The Vicks making it tough for them to move this puck to start this power play sequence for Charleswood. Kaiser tried getting this out, but could not. Kind of fanned on the shot. At the side of the net now, covered up by Tebek. In this power play for the Hawks, brought to you by Terrico. Serving Manitoba producers for over 8 years in the agricultural industry. To find out why they've been so relied upon over these 8 years, be sure to check out their website for all the deets. Terrico.ca. Draw won by Charleswood initially. Vicks couldn't get it out of the zone. Van Norman controls. Short little pass, McDonald into the bumper position. That shot through, scores! And it's a little bit of koozie in the celebration. Taking some inspiration from number 92 for his now team, the Carolina Hurricanes. Elliot Lewis, man, he's been a big-time performer all season long for this Hawks team. And the Hawks able to get possession off of the face-off draw, something they were doing pretty well last game that led to their success late. They work it around seamlessly into that bumper position, and Elliot Lewis makes no mistake. It's a 4-3 hockey game, ladies and gentlemen. An absolute shootout here. 8 minutes, or just over that, 8 minutes and a second remaining on the clock here in the second period. Netchwaduk tried to nutmeg his way through, could not on that face-off draw this time around. Puck ends up out of play. We'll get another face-off coming up here. So we'll see where the linesman brings this to. Just outside of the big zone. Draw will be won by the Victorias at that. Jaquette over to Malmus. Back to Jaquette. Gets it up. And an icing on the play. Didn't deflect this time off of a Victoria stick past that red line. So we'll get a face-off draw inside of the Vic zone. Charleswood, they're tuned to be opportunistic. Most of the play this period, I'd say, been in favor of the Vicks. But Charleswood has 2 goals for themselves. Period scoring tied at this point, 2-2 for both teams in this second frame. Turned over into the neutral zone. Sean, saucer pass over to Morrison. Banks off the boards. Ends up into the crease of Mason Tebec, where he ends up covering this up. By the way, everybody, you know, this isn't the only series we've been covering. We'll have coverage of the St. Boniface Riels Game 2 and Game 4 of their Final Four series against the Pembina Valley Twisters. Starting on Tuesday will be our coverage. Game 1 will already be in the books. We're also going to try to broadcast the St. James Junior Canucks series, where, of course, they await the winner of this Game 7. All coming up next week on G-Show Productions. gshow.ca is where you can check out our schedule, which will be uploading. Turned over now by the Hawks in their own end. Blake Lee, it was onto his stick. In the corner now. Trying to slug his way through, could not. This is played up into the possession of Danis now. Tried dangling through. Wilson lays him on his backside. No penalty on the play. Danis took a lick in there, but right back on his feet has McDonald. He toe drags, save made there by Tebec. Danis will be on it down below now. Tries playing this out in front, can't. Went off of the net. McDonald gets this up to the point. That shot unable to get through. Loose puck sent on net, turned aside by Tebec. Puck rimmed around. Vicks now looking to get this puck out. They finally do. Played up to him. Brogno muscles his way through. Brogno has a man with him. Shot save made by Meadows. Early whistle as the puck went out right away. But we will get a stoppage here coming up. And a face-off inside of the Charleswood Hawk zone. I mean, the counterattack from both of these teams has gone on display all series long. I mean, as soon as Charleswood gets knocked down, they come right back on that chance that Cam McDonald ended up creating. All the way down for an icing, though. With 6:02 on the clock now. Jack Kaiser's line out there, taking on Vig Fussen's line with Hattie, along with Michael Spence. As Spence has it past the red line, dumps it all the way down into the Vig zone. Big hit laid on there by Michael Spence. Sent out in front of the net, couldn't get there to Vig Fussen. Number 9, showcasing his strength and physicality. Van Norman, puck flipped into the zone. Sent on net. Mason Tebec covers it up. And this time around we got a face-off inside of the Vic zone. A lot of face-offs have been happening here, folks. And just want to point out how awesome it is to see this crowd and full support for their teams. We're on the Charleswood Hawks side of things. It's absolutely packed. Thank you for everyone that is tuning in to gshow.ca, by the way, for this one. It's been an absolute thriller so far here on this Friday night in Iroquois. Where else would you want to be? Maybe at this arena, perhaps. But if you're watching it here, you're still very much in for a treat. But Kai Smith, short pass up the boards, ends up getting through. Penalty on the play. As for a slash here coming up on Riley Dudich on the breakout, and not the type of bounce that Charleswood was looking for as they send the Vicks onto their second power play of this contest. And in this period, brought to you by Terrico. Of course, all our special team sequences are D to D. Sent all the way down by Charleswood. Picked up off the backboards by Rubini as he's being pressured. Shields with one arm before taking off. Rubini now walking into the zone. Dancing, gets that stripped away. Didn't dance well enough. Dan Kiesman now looking to walk in. Oh, beautiful move by Kiesman to maneuver through under the stick, protecting on that backhand windmill. Gets back on his feet and still on it. Up to the point to Rylan Netchwood. Shot unloaded. Oh, was looking for the tip instead. Davis Koga couldn't get it on net. Back up to the point. to Dayton Kiesman. Across to Netraduk. Back up top to Kiesman. His shot couldn't get through. Blocked up by Charleswood. And they'll backhand this down. Elliot Lewis going off for a change. As Koga was kind of disrupting him from getting to the bench. Netraduk now banks it off and continues down low. Banks it off the boards, that is. Rubini, his pass not strong enough to play it up, and it'll be picked off by Guberman. Guberman busts through, has Big Fuss in there, scores! Charleswood ties the game shorthanded. Their third shorthanded goal in 2 games. And this place just absolutely erupted. And it's been Nicholas Guberman all series long has been this team's MVP. They need a big play to happen. Down a man on an unfortunate penalty for them. And he's able to not only get by with speed, but to also withstand a bit of checking too. It ends up being a 2-on-0. Passes to Vigfussen, and Vigfussen, instead of just tapping it in, decides, you know what? Let's be a bit patient. Dangles puts it to the backhand and into the back of the net. Tie game. That goal brought to you by Terrico as we're still on this Vic's power play. Shorthanded goals for Charleswood. Been a story throughout this series as we near its conclusion. Jaquette, his shot through on ice. Rebound turned aside. It's picked up. Nolan Anderson, his shot can't get through. Blocked out, sent all the way out, and we are now back to even strength. As wheeling with it, it's Jaquette. His shot through, almost too much for Meadows to handle, but just did enough to keep it out with 3:09 remaining in this game. Off of Nolan Anderson, delayed offside on the play. Didn't get off fast enough. The Vics now do get onside, trying to keep this puck down low, and they do just that. 2:50 remaining in this second period of action. Flipped up into the neutral zone, across for Dudic. Got a 2-on-3, feeds that pass through to Elliot Lewis. Tried getting it back to Dudic, but could not get it to number 11. Sean off of his skates, gets it to a teammate. Up to McDonald, sorry. As he circles before going up top. Van Norman, his shot through and into the breadbasket of Tebek. Nice job by number 1 to track that puck through the traffic. Getting to the good positioning to make that save. St. Vital sends their top line on. Dudic, Danis, and McDonald will stay out for Charleswood. Of course, no Ryland Hugin in this game. Wall is in a few games in this series. But Charleswood, without their point leader in the regular season, doing pretty darn well to stay in this game. Tied 4-4. Vic's now flipping it out. Onto Rubini's glove. Rubini able to dangle through. With the dangle, Rubini outweights Meadows and scores! Wow, wow, wow. Tyler Rubini, his second goal of the playoffs. I mean, this guy's just created all year long, and he wouldn't quit on it, right? That puck was bobbling at times. Nope. Kept going forward, and instead of shooting it right away, he sees a chance to continue to skate with this puck, outweight Meadows, who had already committed. And for number 9, gives the Vics the lead back with just under 2 minutes to play here. Jack Kaiser now feeds a pass across Nolan Anderson. Along the boards, Charleswood able to get it out. As Dayton Kiesman plays it across to Carter Wilson. Sent opposite into the corner for Aiden Anderson. Kaiser out there, along with Nolan. Nolan able to force a slight turnover, but Charleswood able to get it out. No penalty there on the play, a blatant interference. So I believe it was Michael Spencer, big fuss, and that got taken down. I mean, man, that's a tough break there for Charleswood, but we'll see if they can fight through this adversity. Getting this to Kai Smith. Ends up on the stick of Michael Spence. His shot through deflected off of Nell's stick. Tries getting that out in front. Loose puck there. Scores! Charleswood ties it up! And the videographer beside me going crazy, rightfully so. What a shootout we have here tonight at the Koi. This is a Kai Smith for his second of the game. 27, giving a salute to the crowd, saying, "Get loud. Get loud indeed." What mayhem here tonight in Iroquois. Kai Smith picking up that loose puck. Spinorama backhand on ice, I believe, past Mason to Beck. With under a minute remaining in this second, 10 goals in this hockey game combined. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another to end off this period with 43.7 seconds remaining. It'll be a face-off inside of the Vic zone. Elliot Lewis out there to take this draw against Blake Lee. It'll be won by Charleswood as Nicholas Guberman working his way in, dangling Guberman, looking for a wraparound chance out in front. Oh, turned aside by the Vicks in front, defending it well. Van Norman across, Sean, his shot through glove, down by Tebek. 24.7 left on the clock in this second. Face-off draw, won by Charleswood. Up to the point, that shot can't get through. Loose puck, they're trying to find it. The Hawks can't. The Vicks able to get this into the neutral zone and onto the stick of Blake Lee. As Lee almost got blown up there at center ice. Spinorama by Kiesman now. 7 seconds remain in the period. Trying to dangle through. Here's a shot to end off. Mitchell almost beats Meadows. And wow, that's all I can say about this period. It was just back and forth. We see a combined, trying to do math here. I think it combined 7 goals in that period. We end off with it being 5-5. Kai Smith playing the game of his life in his mmjhl career, in the playoffs at least. His second of the playoffs, second of this game to tie things up. Of course, it's been a lot of defensive scoring in this game, in terms of defensemen putting the puck in the net. And yeah, you know, right when we think, for example, the Vicks up by 2, thought maybe they'd run away with us. In the back of my mind, nope. It's Charleswood who comes back. St. Vital punches back, of course, to go up 5-4, and then tied up at 5-5 again. We're in for a fantastic finish. Would not be surprised if we see OT in this one, but we got another 20 miles of regulation coming up. Thank you for choosing gshow.ca on G-Show Productions, everybody. It's been a lot of fun broadcasting this one. We're your official broadcaster of the Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League, and in this Game 7, living up to the hype, the second period was brought to you by Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. We'll be back in about 5 minutes here, maybe a bit more than that, for the third period call. Vicks, Hawks, or should I say Hawks and Vicks, since the Hawks are the home team, tied up at 5, heading into the final 20 minutes of regulation in this winner go home Game 7 in the Elite 8 in the mmjhl from Eric Coy. Well, we're back here, ladies and gentlemen, for period number 3 starting up soon. What a period it was. 7 total goals scored in that period by both sides combined. We'll take you through the goal scores from that period, as well as the shots. So, in period 1, the shots 21-10, it got corrected in favor of Charleswood. It was 18-16 in favor of St. Vital in that last. So yeah, I mean, it was a very back and forth period. Like I said, we saw 7 goals scored in total. It started off with Brady Jaquette on the power play, assisted by Dario Machia and Connor Mitchell. Ian McDonald, or Ian McDonnell, would score his first of the playoffs, jumping up into the play with some speed. Assisted by Cam McDonald and Riley Dudich, Jack Kaiser would score unassisted for the 4th goal for the Vics. Then it would be 2 unanswered special teams-wise for the Hawks. On the power play, Elliot Lewis's 3rd of the playoffs, and Nathan Big Fussin scoring shorthanded. A beautiful play created by Nicholas Guberman. Lucas Van Norman and Cam McDonald had the assist on the Elliot Lewis goal. Guberman and Waddell on the Nathan Big Fussin goal. Tyler Rubini scored his 2nd goal of the playoffs to make it 5-4, assisted by Davis Kogan. Then Kai Smith having a huge game, scoring his 2nd, assisted by Michael Spence and Elliot Lewis to tie things up. Under a minute remaining in that period. But yeah, it's 5-5. We saw a lot more penalties in that period too. 2 at that, from Jorgen Nell and Riley Dudich. 1 for a slash, 1 for a hooking. I'm hearing some banging right now. I think it's from the rails outside. Well, this will probably subside. We are off here in period number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, it's controlled by the Charleswood Hawks. Turned over, though, and now Dudich able to pickpocket. Short pass over to a teammate. That shot wide of the net and picked up by the Victorias. As in these last 20 minutes of regulation in this series for period number 3. Winner take all. Winner moves on to take on St. James. That to McDonald, but his dangle a bit too far for him to reach without getting disrupted on. He played up to the point. Waddell, his shot through, turned aside there by Tebek. So we got a stoppage with 19:24 remaining. This 3rd period brought to you by goaltenders. Your goalie's personal video review service. Be sure to check out their website at GordonTumblesonGoalies.ca. That shot through, turned aside by Tebek again. Nice job by him to track that on the way through. To get another stoppage in the action. Elliot Lewis taking the draw against Rylan Nechwaduk. Lewis tying up Nechwaduk. Nice job by Koga to break 3, though. And it goes to Rubini with speed coming in. Rubini looking for a wraparound chance, but can't capitalize on that. Played up to the point. Kiesman, his shot off of the crossbar, finding iron. So close here in this 3rd, seeing our first of the period. Getting what could be an all-important lead. Really don't know with how these teams have battled back and answered back. That shot turned aside by Mason Tebek and onto the stick of Dayton Kiesman. Puck hit a Charleswood body, now onto Rubini's stick in the zone. Played to the front of that, scores! Vicks with a 6-5 lead now. Somehow able to work that puck to the front of the net to Davis Koga, scoring for the first time in a while in this series, now up to 5. Yeah, somehow Rubini just able to thread that through. That top line for the Vics continuing to do damage in the biggest game of the season. Goal brought to you by Goaltenders, your goalie's personal video review. service. Should have checked out their website. In our top right corner. How does Charleswood respond? Vig Fussin cutting to the middle. His shot wide of the net, deflected or disrupted on the way through. Will be picked up by Blakely. Past the red line for the Victoria. Sends that in deep. Or Zach Meadows plays it off of the glass. Now, batted out of the air by Spence. 3-on-2 developing. Elects to shoot off of the shoulder. Loose puck there. Almost put in, but back in the right position to make that save on Hattie. As the Victoria's Dayton Kiesman off of the glass. Going to Machia. Went by him though. It's now on to Carter Wilson's stick. D-to-D with Kiesman. And deflected in. Offside on the play here. Coming if the Vics were to touch it up, but they don't. This puck sent in again to the Vic zone. Behind the net. To Halati. Short little pass up. Vics can't get it out for the time being though. Waddell strong holding at the line. Kai Smith tried getting that into the slot but could not. Now Smith giving chase back. 4 Hawks back. Now 3 Victorias in the zone, but it'll be turned over. On to Riley Dudich's stick. Looking for a drop to McDonald. That's exactly what he'll do. McDonald taking it around the net. Wraparound try to back. Just there in time to make it. Impressive to stick that left leg out. As McDonnell sends that on net to Beck. Decides to glove that down and leave that for a Hawk. Or for a Victoria for his teammate. As the Hawks now back on possession of it. Trying to backhand this down low but can't. It'll be onto the stick of Nolan Anderson. Goes cross ice to Aiden Anderson. Trying to get it back to Nolan was Aiden, but hits off of his skate. And now it's Guberman giving chase on Jaquette. Trying to dangle past. Guberman does. Fights off one check. Gets that to the net, but couldn't find Morrison in proper fashion. Puck picked up by Nolan Anderson now. He circles, delays high up in the zone. He'll look to dangle past now. Can't quite pass loose, but loose puck picked up by Koga, most recent goal scorer. His shot turned aside by Meadows. Vic's control at the point. Jaquette off of the side of the net. As this puck gets sent out now. Struggling with it on his feet, though. Guberman picks up this puck. Toe drags in. Oh, what a nice save by Tebek on Guberman. 24 continues to be dangerous. But it's Tebek coming up with some crucial saves here. Sean turns over this puck into Koga's possession. Now on to Lewis's stick for Charleswood. Lewis now evades the check in there of Nechwaduk, who threw himself at him. Puck ends up exiting out of the zone. Now it's onto the stick of Hattie. Wheeling in. Hattie trying to dangle through. Can't. Loses his balance behind the net. It's into the opposite corner, or the corner closest to our broadcast angle in the Victoria zone. Big fuss and short little pass to Dennis. Couldn't cradle that. McDonnell, his shot on the side of the net. Picked up by Dennis. Now out in front. Oh, nice save again by Tebek. In front on Hattie this time. Vic struggling to get out. They finally do. Set for Rubini. Here's a chance. Number 9 in alone. Oh, couldn't get a handle on that puck. Almost looked like he went for the no move there. I believe that's what it's called, but it's played up to Dudich. Dudich dangling through, able to impressively slither his way past, gets it up to the point. Waddell, his shot will be deflected and out of play. Yeah, it's the no move, the Kucherov move I was thinking of. Almost kind of looked like that. I know Kuch makes it intentional. I don't think Rubini's was intentional there. Still huge for Meadows to keep that out of the net. Dudich ends up tying up his man. Charleswood sends this into the slot. It's up to the point. Yurdabaniak sends that down low. Where it'll be picked up by Dayton Kiesman now. Kiesman trying to work this puck up. Can't. It'll be stripped out the line. McDonald has Dudich going to the net. McDonald trying to dangle pass. Does. Wrap around. Try in front there. Dudich couldn't elevate that puck. Still in the swarm of Vic. Side of the net, now scores! And look who it is! Kai Smith! The hat-trick performance! The biggest game of his life for Charleswood tonight! They tie this one back up at 6-27. An absolute gamer. Of course, like mentioned, he was traded over to Charleswood. Was originally on St. James. Spent his season there last year a part of a championship team. Got traded, though, I believe, to River East first, then made his way to Charleswood, and his third goal of the postseason is, once again, his biggest. Wow, 13:27 remaining. 6-all is this hockey game. Malmus, cross-ice pass into the neutral zone for Nolan Anderson. This will be stripped by Hattie now. Down into the corner, gets a short pass to Spence. That shot almost caught to back off guard, but he was in the right position just to make that save. Be turned over again, fed up to Guberman. Busting through, Guberman dangles. Oh, nice save by Tebek. Another one. Oh, number one. What a sequence. And what a job by him to keep that out. Charleswood's most dangerous player. Still number 24 in Guberman, able to make his way through again, dangling in, puts a rebound on net for his teammate to go after. They do just that, but unable to finish pass to back on this chance. 12 total goals in this game. Jorgen Nell over to Tyler Rubini, tries going cross ice to Netchwaduk, but can't. The Vics keep going up. Charleswood keeps punching back in this one. Been very entertaining to watch, and thank you once again for choosing gshow.ca, your official broadcaster of the mmjhl, to watch this matchup. Over to Guberman, held in by Sean at the point. His shot fanned on and turned over now. Jaquette feeds a pass up to Koga, draw pass to Rubini. He unloads, that shot turned aside by Meadows. Now it's Guberman, 2-on-1, has Morrison with him. Guberman now, he shoots wide of the net. Chance there, squandered in a way. As now it's the Vics making their way back up. Jaquette, opposite corner, off of the backboards. Tyler Rubini sends that in deep, down below. Gets past Davis Koga. Netchwaduk try cutting him off. Here's McDonald now, busting through right side to the middle. His shot just wide of the net again. Charleswood kicking themselves here. As it's Kiesman working his way up. His shot from a tough angle turned aside by Meadows. Side of the net now. It's Mache who has it, brings it out and sticking with it. Never giving him anything really to shoot at was Meadows. Cut down the angle well. 11:23 remains in this third period. It's a 6-6 hockey game. Face off inside of the Charleswood zone. Blake Lee won that to the boards, where Connor Mitchell is disrupted. Side of the net now. Meadows tried getting that loose puck, but could not. It's played now. Still in the Charleswood zone. They can't get this puck out cleanly. Went off of the skate of Blake Lee. They go off the boards, rimming this around opposite side. Halati first one to get there, but an offside delayed on the play. Did not quite hold the line, was number 5. Just gave Danis a little stick tap. That gets past the skates of Carter Wilson, icing on the play. Michael Spence couldn't make it there in time. With that, it'll be the Kaiser line that comes back on with the Andersons. That's Nolan Anderson waiting for a potential one-timer to work that puck around if the Vicks were to win the draw, but they did not. Kaiser loses it. And past the red line, it's deflected in by Charleswood off of the stick of Spence. Up the boards. St. Vital tries to go. Turned over, though. Michael Spence, side of the net, almost fools Tobacco on that one. Didn't save it cleanly. A miss slash there. No, it isn't a miss slash. It will be a penalty coming to the St. Vital Junior Victorias. As I believe it's Aiden Anderson. We'll put goaltenders back on the screen in just a moment. Your goalie's personal video review services. Charleswood has a chance to go up 7-6 here. Elliot Lewis taking the draw against Netchwaduke. Lewis ties him up to the point to Guberman. Cross ice, Van Norman to the bumper to Lewis. Kicks that out to McDonald. Across to Guberman. Now he unloads it. Shot, scores! Nicholas Guberman puts the Hawks on top for the first time in this game. It's a Charleswood lead. Well, it doesn't get much smoother than that. The draw was honestly the part where things got disrupted the most, but Charleswood able to stay strong on it. Tying up was Elliot Lewis, working it back to the point. They work it from left to right, back to the point, even one time into the bumper position, but ends up on Guberman's stick. And number 24 has been absolute money in this playoff round for the Hawks. Not even sure how many points he's at now. But it's Charleswood on top for the first time tonight with over half a minute to be played. Now, they're not down by the same, but want to remind everyone of last year. It'll be Nolan Anderson going to the box. Again, this not looking good for the Vicks, but they are able to find another level in their game. We all saw whoever was there at the St. Vital Centennial Arena last season. They were down 4-1 with under 10 minutes to play. They score 5 unanswered to make it through. So it could be possible we see another comeback from the Vicks. Not to the same magnitude, but they are in tough here. Down 7-6, a second straight penalty taken, and we put our screen back to goaltenders. Our sponsor for all special team sequences. Your goalie's personal video review service. Van Norman turns the puck over, almost gets by him. Van Norman couldn't quite hold the line, though, and offside. The ref saying he was out. Well, with 9:42 remaining, 1:48. That face-off draw won by Rylan Netchwaduke right into his own bench. Are they deeming this one off of a Hawk? Not too sure. Face-off stays at the same place, though. Netchwaduke, same thing. This time keeps the puck in play and sends it all the way down. 2 minutes for head contact and a misconduct. So Nolan Anderson will be out for the remainder of regulation for as long as this game remains, as Lewis working his way and tries going across with a pass, but that was covered up well by Carter Wilson to get in the lane. Shot through and saved by Tebek. 1:19 remaining on the power play. It's the Anderson brothers in the box together. Or no, sorry, it's Jorgen Nell who's in there with Nolan Anderson. Seems like I might need glasses. Thought the 7 was a 3 in the box. The face-off will be coming to the outside of the zone here. .906 remains. Elliot Lewis wins the draw, as this will be fanned on. Rubini picking it up now. Has his stick disrupted with and could not cradle that puck cleanly. It's played up to Lewis in the neutral zone. He makes his way in. Lewis cross ice for Guberman off the boards. He takes that. Tebek loses it underneath him. No Hawk there to pick up the rebound in time. St. Vital able to send this one out. And Meadows comes out to play it. Van Norman, short pass for Guberman as he wheels his way in, trying to withstand the check-in there of Dayton Kiesman. Could not. Puck gets sent out. 8:25 remaining in this game. 30 seconds in the power play. Sean taking it all the way back into his own end to regroup here. As Sean still continues to circle. Has Rubini, first forechecker on. Not really forechecking, kind of waiting at the moment. As off of the skate of Dudic. Puck sent into the Vic zone now. Kiesman spins away beautifully to evade the pressure. Malmus now, stretch pass up. Sorry, that was a clear just before the penalty expires. So, was deemed no icing at that. We're back to even strength. This puck gets sent all the way down to the Vic zone again. Tebek plays it off the backboards, leaves it for a teammate. Off the boards, chipped to Blake Lee. Coming in with some speed, right side, trying to get to the net, but lost a handle on the puck. So he was carrying it one-handed. Blake Lee to the net, rebound put on, long one, but no Victoria there to put away the garbage. To put away the trash, as they like to say, the old word goes. Cross-ice pass, Imbrogno unloads, has that blocked. A huge one there by, I believe, number 9 in Spence, or no, number 4 in Waddell that was. Picked up by Connor Mitchell. Goes across for Dayton Kiesman. Through the legs, he dangles. As Kiesman still on it, being hounded in the corner for having the puck taken away. This gets sent all the way in to the Vic zone again. As Carter Wilson on it. Turns it over into the neutral zone. Onto Dudic's stick. But all he can do is play that back into the Vic zone. Time running out for the Victorias in a way. But with the way this game has gone, wouldn't be surprised here if we see another goal quickly coming up, no matter whose side it is on. 6:30 remaining in this matchup. A Vic D pinching be costly here on the break-in for Charleswood. They keep this behind the net. Lewis gets to it now. Keeps it down low for Morrison. He's battling along with Malmus, or rather Malmus was battling with him and gets that puck, wins it to start the breakout for his team. Machia sends it down deep into the zone where Jack Kaiser will be there, trying to intercept that puck but could not. It's held in by the Victoria, sent down low as McDonnell will be rubbed out by Kaiser, but able to get the puck safely to Zook. Reverses that back to McDonnell. Jaquette almost eating it. Zone blue line, able to stay upright though to potentially defend that rush chance coming in. Now McDonnell takes a bad spill into the boards. Kiesman able to evade the pressure and gets that up to Netraduk. Netraduk gets by, dangling through. Oh, what a shot by Netraduk, but Meadows sticks with it. 5:31 remaining. His Hawks lead by 1, 7-6. Netraduk tried changing the angle on that one. Almost worked in a way, trying to use that screen too to his advantage. But it'll be Netraduk back on, staying on for the Vics with that top line. Netraduk trying to play that through the skates of a Hawk centerman, but could not. So it's Kiesman spinning around at his own blue line. He'll play that off the boards. He continues to go up. First one to the puck almost. Sean was in the right position and able to defend him well and send that all the way down into the Victoria zone. Halati, long stretch pass up, tipped in by one hand by Netraduk. As Vicks can't hold it in. Carter Wilson didn't get there fast enough. Halati, his stretch pass up, could not find Netraduk. But Netraduk got it shortly to a teammate. 4:45 remaining. Sent all the way down. High stick on the play, potentially. That one bounces all the way down into the Vic zone onto Tebek's glove. It was a high stick on the play, so we will have a face-off inside of the Victoria zone. Vic Fussin on to take it. Loses this draw to Blake Lee. To Kiesman. Off of the glass. Sends this up. Blake Lee with speed. Oh, nice defense there by Zook. But Blake Lee still stays on it. The Vics now trying to hound with pressure. Cannot. Hattie gets that all the way down. No icing on the play. Coming up on under 4 minutes remaining in this one. Kiesman passes up to Blakely. Blakely now. Waiting, surveys, goes cross ice. Jaquette, his shot through, rebound there. Meadows stands strong. Or stays strong in his net. He gets taken out after the play as well. Hattie on his knee for a sec there. Is Meadows slow to get up? He finally does. Nolan Anderson still in the box for the Vicks. Of course, serving that misconduct. Trainer coming out to attend to Meadows, see how he's doing. Of course, can't tell you what they're saying, but it's nice to see that Meadows was able to get back up. Wonder what exactly happened. Didn't quite catch it. Of course, the winner of this goes on to play the defending champs in the St. James Junior Canucks in round 2 in the Final Four. Be starting probably next week. Maybe even on Sunday. I don't think so, though, since this series is wrapping up tonight. Twisters and Riels, that game can be seen on the Pembina Valley Twisters YouTube channel for games 1 and 3 in Morris, and all the home games in Morris, Manitoba. Not sure if they're going to make their way down to Southdale for it, but G-Show Productions will have all the home games from Southdale there for the Riels, as long as it doesn't conflict with our broadcast schedule. A lot of hockey coming up. By the way, game number 3 of the Winnipeg Ice Westman Wildcats Championship Series will be played on Sunday night at the Hockey for All Center. G-Show Productions will have that game on gshow.ca, so you won't want to miss it. 7 p.m. will be the puck drop for that one. But trainer for the Hawks now off of the ice. And we are ready to play again with 4:04 remaining in this third. Charleswood up 7-6. Can they hold this lead? As Jack Kaiser tried sending it through. Can't. Kaiser gets it back side of the net. Oh, from that left face-off circle. Couldn't quite do enough there to beat Meadows that time. We're under 4 now. Charleswood with it in their own end. Waddell got a pass to a teammate, and that's sent up. Dudich now. Offside on the play. I don't understand there at all. As Riley Dudich, I mean, you saw that the linesman was calling this delayed offside. You heard it. I don't understand why he continued there, and that ends up being potentially costly if Charleswood can't survive this. Netchwood gets that through off the backboards. Looks like for now Charleswood will be okay, but just not the type of thinking you want here late in the game. In a game that's been so tight, where there hasn't been any separation on the scoreboard between these two teams at all, really. Rubini tried dangling through, but he's stopped up by the Charleswood Hawks defense as this gets sent all the way down for an icing again. Another face-off coming inside of the Hawk zone. .316 left on the clock. Victoria's win the draw. Jaquette, his shot bounces around before going into the opposite corner. Sent out of play here, and Charleswood, I mean, definitely have had some good chances throughout this period, but we can definitely see some of the nerves starting to kick in here on this team with their puck management. A lot of icings here still. I mean, that Dudich play and then that play right there. Just got to remember, you know, you're still in this hockey game. You got the lead at that. I mean, you got the lead, and you got to be smarter with this puck, or this could cost Charleswood here. Guberman just gets this puck out. That goes off of Rubini as he was going to pick it up, but Kiesman elects to. Kiesman delays, puts that on net. Rebound there, crashing is Netchwaduke. Loose puck, can't put it in. Side of the net, no call on the play. Shot wide of the net there as Rubini sends that to a teammate. It goes down low, sent out in front. This puck there, it'll be picked up by Kiesman at the point. Sent from the side of the net, deflected at the front off of that pass, or that shot pass from Rubini. Or from Netchwaduke, sorry. Rubini has it now. Tries going across back door for Netchwaduke, but it's covered up well. And now it'll be Morrison hitting Guberman with the pass. Guberman has Elliott Lewis. Back door goes. Oh, that not able to go in somehow for Charleswood, which could have been potentially the dagger in this game. Loose puck now. Guberman picks it up again. Goes off of the side of the net. Just over 2 remaining now. Now under 2 remaining. Davis Koga. Cross ice. Netchwaduke. Oh, spins around. Loses bounce out in front, but covered up well. Trebek was going to the bench at first. He has to make his way back, though. McDonald coming down with speed, trying to dangle inside, outside. And oh, the end there. There's going to be some rough stuff coming here. Wow. What a sequence. Unbelievable. Would not be surprised if we got a timeout coming up here now or very soon. And yes, it will be a timeout to the St. Vital Junior Victorias. With that, folks, because we're going to be doing a lot of talking here coming up, we're going to mute ourselves for just a little moment here while both these teams talk about what they're going to do here in these next 30 seconds. The buzzer sounds. A minute 46 remains in regulation here. The St. Vital Junior Victorias broke hearts in Charleswood last year in Game 7. Charleswood trying to return the favor a round earlier. A minute 46 potentially remaining in St. Vital's season, where they made it to the championship last year against St. James. Trying to make it back there, of course. Charleswood, of course, trying to avenge their loss against St. Vital. This puck outside, gets out, and it'll be offside. Mason Trebek, you know, as soon as the Vics get it in and get some sort of possession, he's going to be going for the extra attack, or he's going right now, actually. Right at the blue line. The Vics now get it in. Trebek is off. 6-on-5 here. A minute 17 remaining. This puck all the way down for in icing. A minute 12. I expect that the Vics keep their goaltender pulled. Now, I know Netchwaduke loves to go through the legs on the face-off draw. Nope, he's not going to be the one taking it. It's Jack Kaiser. Sees the extra attacker, wins that back to Rubini. Pickpocketing is Guberman. He's trying to get that on net, but can't from just outside of the blue line. Almost ending it. Guberman on Rubini. Wow, what a move for Rubini to evade him. He's working up with speed now. Down that right side, Rubini played it to the net. Off the backboards, off the paddle by Meadows. Rubini now plays that across down low. Out in front, loose puck there. No one can get possession of it first off. Charleswood still trying to get it out, but they can't. Too slow to get past Netchwaduke. Now trying to feed him in the slot. Charleswood does get it out now, but it'll be all the way down for an icing. Just missing the net with 28.7 seconds remaining. I just saw one of the crowd members wanting for the Hawks to call a timeout, and they do just that. Will Kinsman has to settle this group down right now. Wow, this, in our first year of G-Show Productions, I've had a chance to call an absolute thriller, a double OT matchup in Game 3 of the Eastman Selects and Interlake Lightning Series in Round 1 of the MFHL playoffs. We've seen plenty of overtimes this season on mmjhl Game Day. We saw like 2 fights break out in Game 4 of this series. We saw Charleswood, coming back down 2-0 in that Game 6 and scoring 5 unanswered. But this right here, 13 total goals and how they've been scored, the back and forths, I don't think we've been a part of something like this so far. With the season on the line for both of these teams, here we go to the final moments. Draw will be picked up by Rubini along the wall, leaves a pass for Kaiser. A Victoria being held there, no call on the play. Kiesman, his shot way wide, 18 seconds remain, it's out. Guberman chasing down this puck, now no icing on the play. He beats it, this could be it for Charleswood. Elliott Lewis trying to find him there, but it's turned over. Potentially one more chance for St. Vital. It's Kiesman coming down that left side, dangles through. Oh, Koga, loose puck, still there, and it will be the Charleswood Hawks finding redemption in Eric Hoy. They'll be moving on to play on in the Final Four, setting up a matchup with the St. James Junior Canucks as they celebrate around their goaltender in Zach Meadows. Heartbreak for a St. Vital Junior victorious team who sees their season end 2 rounds earlier than last year, failing to make it back to the finals officially now, in a game where they had the lead multiple times but could not hold on to it. Charleswood just kept fighting and kept pressing. They had 21 shots in that first period, down 2-1. Shots in favor of the Vics in that second period, but still Charleswood ends up being tied with them at 5-5. And the Vics open up scoring again in this period off of Davis Koga. But once again, Charleswood would keep fighting. What a game this was. Nicholas Guberman was spectacular. Kai Smith with a hat-trick performance. He tied this game up. I mean, it's exactly what you love to see if you're a hockey fan. A game like this, at the best time of the year in the playoffs, a Game 7, win or go home for both teams. This St. Vital team will have players like Rubity and Nechwaduk, Jaquette back next year. As for Davis Koga, he just played his last game in the mmjhl, I believe for Jack Kaiser as well. This was the first year for the St. Vital Junior Victoria's new coaching staff in terms of having a new man behind the bench as the bench boss, head coach Tyler Anderson. A lot to build off of from this year to next year. Davis Koga and Van Norman with a ton of respect. A bunch of these players former teammates with Koga, of course, as he got traded there last season. But, wow, what a game this was. Cam McDonald gives a fist bump. Charleswood slays their dragon, which was St. Vital. Had to play catch-up. Only had the lead after the first game. St. Vital won 2 in a row. It was Charleswood who tied up at 2. Then St. Vital won in a thriller here last Friday to go up 3-2 in the series. Charleswood was almost dead on Tuesday, but 5 unanswered goals really put them to this moment where, yeah, an absolute thriller, a barn burner here tonight. We're going to get to our player of the game as we also change our series score to Hawks win series 4-3. Oh, hey, baby, playing in the background. It was Davis Kogu who opened up the third period, scoring Kai Smith with his third, a hat-trick in this matchup, assisted by Riley Dudich and Cam McDonald. And who else but Nicholas Guberman, his 7th of the playoffs on the power play, assisted by Cam McDonald and Elliott Lewis. You know what? We're going to get to player of the game right now, into the players of the game. And we'll start off with the St. Vital Junior Victorias. You know what? In his last game ever, I think that Davis Koga had himself a game. I mean, he was getting in on the assists. He only had 2 points in this game, actually, but one of them being what could have been the game-winning goal for St. Vital. I mean, could have given it to other players, but to me, I thought Davis Koga stood out a lot offensively tonight. And, yeah, delivers a performance with a goal and an assist. Unfortunate for him, this is his last game ever in the mmjhl. It was a treat to watch him play. So smart with the puck, as we saw here tonight. A lot of those smart habits in his game came through. But in our post-game show brought to you by Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, we get to the winners in the Charleswood Hawks. To you by Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools. Hey, got to give it to Kai Smith. Guberman was outstanding tonight. But Kai Smith put the team on his back in many ways. Like Guberman, similar to him. But to have your first 3 goals of the playoffs come tonight in an elimination game, unreal. They weren't pretty goals, all of them, not necessarily, but just put a puck on net and see what happens. Is that what Kai Smith did tonight? Went to the dirty areas to get those goals. And he's a big reason why Charleswood is moving on and fighting to see another round. So that's going to do it for our players of the game. Goes to Koga for St. Vital. And Kai Smith for the Charleswood Hawks. Bracket's going to be updated and posted tomorrow. Game 1 of Riels and Twisters goes on Sunday in Morris. Await for the official schedule of St. James and now the Charleswood Hawks, which should be out in by tonight maybe, at the latest tomorrow probably. But we're down to 4 now. St. James, their three-peat's still alive. The Twisters looking to get back into the final. Riel's looking to make it back to the finals to potentially go for a championship, which they only have one, which came back in 2014-15, which was the year they ended up making it through the first round. Ever since then until this year, they couldn't. And for Charleswood, I mean, they're back into the Final Four this time around, beating St. Vital and eliminating them, as those 2 teams played in the semis last year. And by the way, St. Vital fans, we broadcasted almost all of our mmjhl games at St. Vital. The fan base really exciting and fun to hear the atmosphere and what it was like at St. Vital Centennial Arena this season. Thank you to Tyler Anderson, Jeff Mitchell, as well as Dwayne, president for the St. Vital Junior Victorias, for having us come out and be able to broadcast games there this season. It was huge for us to get our broadcasts really going this year in the mmjhl, and they opened the door for us to gain a lot of viewership this year. So yes, thank you to them and for all the players that got interviewed for St. Vital and accepting it. Without you, this season wouldn't have happened, St. Vital Junior Victorias fans, so we thank you for sharing this journey with us and being along for the ride. We'll see you next season. It's a long off season coming up for St. Vital now, a lot to think about. For Charleswood, though, they move on 7-6 in a barn burner here in this do-or-die Game 7. Thank you to Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, Terrico, and for goaltenders for sponsoring this matchup. Thank you to everyone that chose G-Show Productions and tuned in. We'll have our Final Four broadcast schedule up on gshow.ca in the next few days. Next game in the mmjhl we'll be broadcasting is on Tuesday night at Southdale. Next broadcast we'll have is MFHL game day for Game 3 of the Winnipeg Ice and Westman Wildcats in the MFHL Championship Series. Stay tuned. We might be releasing an mmjhl podcast tomorrow, but if not, next week for sure. But yeah, I'll be taking care now, everybody. Thank you to you for watching and to our crew for helping us out here tonight. Charleswood fights to see another day and another round, taking on St. James next, as the road to the mmjhl Championship continues here in the mmjhl and on G-Show Productions. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and for choosing gshow.ca and G-Show Productions for mmjhl Hockey, your official broadcaster of the mmjhl. We'll see you on Tuesday. For all you Riels fans and mmjhl fans who tune into Game 2 of the Twisters and Riels. Good night, everybody.